Hi guys, welcome to the video. In this video I'll be talking about this week's preview, which is 1.21. This is 1.21.110.22. And this is basically getting this week from what I'm realizing is basically a week where they get Java and Bedrock all caught up with features wise, because this preview is basically just a catch-up preview with Java, and the Java snapshot I showcased yesterday is basically just a snapshot catching up with the Bedrock edition. Since these have been in Java edition for a while, because my guess is that all this was already done and polished, ready for snapshots for Java, but they didn't have enough time to release it because they were going on break and they didn't have enough time to release the snapshot with all these cool features. And so they had to wait until they got back. They had to wait until they got back from summer vacation, which I guess ended last week. And so this week is their first week back in office, and the Java team is now back. Hint, team, we had a snapshot yesterday. So yeah, and this week I'm going to show you that yes, shells finally do work and finally do have their functionality. And so if we do that right there, you see that should go right there. Then that shovel should go into there, you can see, and then that should go into there. So you can see that it does work. And if I grab a hopper really quickly, I can take items out of it. Pretty simple. Look it. We now have the Java functionality from Bedrock. And then if I grab the shelf, it can also now be waterlogged. You see it can now be waterlogged. It can now also give off, it's supposed to give off a redstone power strength level from a comparator when it has items in it, which I think is really cool. I learned this on Java edition from a Twitter post, but from what we can see, it's not really working right now. They have to fix some bugs with it. You can see it's not really working. The only thing it's working with is observers. Let me find where observers are. Right there. Sorry, I still need to get used to that. Plus this, you can see if I take that out, you see it activates. It's supposed to activate a comparator as well, but it is not right now doing that. But it will soon. And then it's supposed to also be working with droppers and dispensers. You can see that they do now get powered when a dropper dispenser is powered, and you can see it works, which is wonderful. I love that. That's a cool change in my opinion. Now I'm going to just dump everything into here. Dang it, I hate this. Weather clear, and then also time set day. So yeah, like I said before, this is basically a catch up with Java edition. So now Java and Bedrock, from what I can tell, they are now caught up, because if you come over here, you can see we now have the oxidized lightning rods, along with, you can also wax them too. So if you grab honeycomb, you can now wax them. And then you can use a axe to unwax them. Of course, we're going to use a copper axe because I love the new copper axe. And we also now have the copper horse armor. So if we really quickly tame a horse, we can see what it looks like really quickly. Then just cut off of it, do that. You can see it work. It looks basically exactly the same as Java Editions does, which I think it looks very cool. And so yeah, so you can see we have all the Java features on Bedrock now that got introduced to Java yesterday. I don't know why the preview was delayed a day, but probably because of the Java team coming back now, and they now have to communicate now with the Java team, which I guess can be complicated at times. But this is what this preview has. It also fixes a lot of bugs with the shelf. Like, you can no longer place redstone on top of it, I believe. Yeah, you can no longer put redstone on top of it. It's basically like Bedrock. It's basically like Java Edition shelf. If you think of it that way, it's kind of like Java Edition shelf. It's now way more polished and way more bug free. You can no longer put lanterns on the bottom, so it's just a lot more better, a lot more polished. Along with having the interaction with hoppers, dispensers, droppers, and all of that, and also it can also be waterlogged. I just think it's just really cool. But I just think the Bedrock shelf is just a lot cooler because I think this item in here is more bigger and more 3D than the Java edition one. That's from what I've seen from YouTube videos or from me messing with it on myself on Java. But leave your feedback down below. Which one do you like better? Do you like the Java or Bedrock version of the shelf better? I'll probably leave a community post poll letting you guys decide what you think, which one you think looks better, the Java one or the Bedrock one. So, yeah, but the shelf is now supposed to be basically the same on both versions now, which I think is amazing. The shelf, the only thing that changed the shelf is it interacting with hoppers, droppers, and dispensers, and also interacting with redstone. And this means that we could possibly be getting more features in this drop. Maybe more copper features. Who knows? Because this update is, like I said in my video yesterday when I talked about the music disc edition, maybe. This update is very heavily surrounding copper and inventory management. Maybe we could be getting something else for inventory management, or possibly more copper related stuff. Maybe more copper blocks. Maybe we get wolf armor, but copper wolf armor. Who knows? But I guess armadillo armor is already is pretty strong as it is because it absorbs all of the impact, and it does take damage. When armadillo armor breaks, then it disappears, and then the wolf takes damage. So yeah, but I think that this is such a cool preview this week. What do you guys think? Tell down below what you think. I think it's a great introduction, and yeah, I just think it's just a very cool preview for this week. Just a nice small one to get us all cut back up with each other, so that both versions, Java and Bedrock, have the same features. And I think this preview is very stable. Like, I haven't had any problems. The only problems I've had is on Java with the Copper Golem on Java and with the rendering with the Copper Armor on Java. Because on Java, the Copper Armor doesn't render correctly, and it's just weird. Whereas Bedrock's Copper Armor looks a lot more polished and a lot more finalized. Because you see here, there's no texture issues. Whereas on Java, with the chest plate, you can see your skin through the chest plate and through different pieces that you shouldn't be seeing your skin through. So, yeah, that's the only problems I've had, but that's on Java, not Bedrock. But Bedrock side, I think is a lot better, and the animation for when it comes back alive. Let me grab the axe really quickly over here. Let me grab the axe very quickly, so I can bring alive one of these statues I have over here. You can see here, the animation's a lot more smooth and a lot more finalized, in my opinion. And in my opinion, just animation itself and all that are a lot better on Bedrock than Java is right now. So let me grab another copper. Let me grab another copper axe so I can show you guys. There you go. Grab that, then I can go right there. Just the animation itself is a lot better on Bedrock than it is on Java, in my opinion. So, I want to hear your guys' opinion about this drop, because this might just be like the copper horse armor and these oxidizing lightning rods. These might just be the last final features of this drop. And if it is, what do you guys think? Do you guys like this update or this drop so far with what we have? Do you like it? Do you think it's a pretty good drop, or do you think we need more features? I think it's a pretty good, decent drop. It's definitely a lot bigger than the Garden Awaken, than the Spring to Life game drop, and the Chase the Skies. It's definitely a lot bigger than those. I guess not as big as the Spring to Life game drop that we got in March or April, but still a pretty big one. But this is still a lot better and a lot huger than Chase the Skies, because you have to keep in mind Chase the Skies only had the Happy Ghast and some crafting recipe changes, such as the craft recipe changes for the lead and the saddle. The saddle not being craftable, along with the lead no longer requiring slime balls. So, yeah. But I think, in my opinion, this is a pretty decent drop. And this is finally showing people that the drops can be huge and can be big and can come with some huge game-changing features like the shelf. The shelf is a game-changing feature in its own right. So is the Copper Golem. The Copper Golem is a game changer in itself as the first mob to be able to open chests. The Copper Golem is the first mob in Minecraft ever to interact with a block, such as the chest. And it's our first item sorting mob ever. Of course, we have Delay, but Delay just drops things, just picks them up and drops things. It doesn't place it into chests. It just picks things up from the floor and drops it into either to you or next to a note block. So that's what the Delay does. But the Copper Golem does a lot more, and it sorts items into chests for you, which I love so very much. And I love the Copper Golem. It's my new favorite mob. I love it so very much, and I think it's a great addition to the game. I'm happy that they introduced it. And since it is about to be a month of us having it, it has gotten very polished and very good on Bedrock. But of course, it's not as polished on Java because it was just added to Java, so they need a couple weeks to polish things out and just all of that. But I think this is a pretty decent and pretty good drop, in my opinion. I have to say, this is a pretty decent drop. I love it, and this shows people that they can't argue about drops anymore, because this is a pretty huge and pretty decent sized update for a drop, because this is considered a game drop, and this will release September or October time, because each drop has a 3-month development cycle. And since Minecraft Live is coming up, I think we're going to start heading now into bug fixing stages, to just fixing bugs and just polishing. So yeah, I just thought I would make this update video to show you guys what's on Bedrock in the latest preview, because it's nothing major. It's just Bedrock catching up to Java with the horse and the lightning rods, and with the shelf interacting with redstone and redstone components and all of that. But if you enjoyed this preview, and if you enjoyed me rambling, then make sure you like the video. Make sure you do subscribe. We're getting so close to 500 subscribers, and if you can get to 500 before September, that would be really amazing and fantastic. So make sure to please check if you are subscribed or not. Please, it would be pretty much appreciated. You may not be subscribed, so make sure you double check, because you don't know for sure. So yeah, but that's it. So in my next video, make sure you set that notification, set to all notifications, so you don't miss another video from me. So I'll see you guys later. Peace.